papers in German, but it was interpreted to me. It says they come out of curiosity and they leave as fans.
There you go,
so they come skeptical and all that kind of stuff, but once they hear it and see the situation, it's the reality hits them, and they do love the music and the attitude and that kind of stuff. So those guys, and the thing is, it's not just me. I see what people write about Brian Johnson.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A lot of people very skeptical.
They're just nobodies. These people. They're nobodies. They never will be anybody, and they're gutless. You know what I mean? They're on Facebook or they're on the net, and they can say whatever they like. But I mean, if they stood in front of Brian would punch the hell out of them.
Exactly.
And the same with me. Same with me. So it's not just me, and it's not even just with AC/DC. I mean, you get different stars, no matter what they are, the basketball stars or whatever. You get these gutless people putting shit on them, as they say, and just wankers, as we call them here in Australia.
Wankers, there you go.
It's just some people are just very quick to judge without even, if someone's going to criticize you or Brian Johnson, but yet they haven't even, heard their music, heard their story. They really their opinion is not valid at all.
Well, the thing is, it's not just with music. I mean, anybody that's putting other people down all the time, they're just trying to build their own egos up with other people, and that's what people do. All the knockers, no matter what they're knocking other people all around them, they're only doing it trying to make themselves look bigger, to other people. It's just, as I said, it's just a wanker.
Yes. Well, Dave, another question we got for you. Mark Evans of AC/DC, he recently wrote a book about his time with the band and his impact. So what do you feel is your impact that you had on the band, and would you ever consider writing a book, like an autobiography, talking about your time with AC/DC and other bands?
Well, I'm one of the 5 founding members of the band. There's only 5 founding members. It's a unique thing between the 5 of us. So without me and Larry Van Creet, the original bass player, and Colin Burgess, the original drummer, there is no AC/DC.
Very true.
You look at the Amazon River, it's massive, but without that source, there's no Amazon. So the most important part of the Amazon River, in a sense, is the source, because it's like with you, or me, or anybody. The conception between your father and your mother. Without that, you ain't around, baby.
No, you're not.
So it's most people know who their fathers are, but not everybody. But in this case, people do know who the fathers, I suppose, of AC/DC is. That's the 5 of us. So, of course, it's important. And we had a hit record, too, don't forget. When Bon joined the band, we were already riding high, so he didn't join a band that wasn't happening.
Exactly.
But after he joined the band, then went overseas, and his role was very important, of course. He wrote some great songs with the band, and it broke them overseas, you know what I mean?
So would you ever write a book?
And well, I've thought about it, and it is important that I do write that book, because I'm the only one, apart from some of the others, that know exactly what happened. There's a lot of anecdotes and a lot of stories, and it's very, very important. So I suppose I'd better look into contacting a publisher, I suppose, and putting this down, because it's important for the fans to know what happened in those early days. It was very volatile. I was only with the band, say, 12 months from when we first got together and formed the band to when I split. But so much happened in that short space of time, and it was quite volatile. And there was also some fantastic moments, playing the Sydney Opera House, which was an amazing show, and a lot of other things, and some funny things as well. Yeah. So,
and it goes so much. It goes so much more beyond your AC/DC career too, because you have so much more to write about too.
Well, yeah, if I wanted to write about just me. I mean, Rabbit was a fantastic band, and I could tell you what, the stories that I could write about Rabbit, I don't know if I could write most of them, to tell you the truth. That was a fantastic era. Those guys are still my very close friends to this day.
That's good.
And we just had a ball together. I mean, an absolute fantastic time. And, we had a couple of albums out and stuff like that. And
that's great.
Had our hit records. But we lived the absolute rock and roll lifestyle, and it was just a magic time with Rabbit, and of course after that, Dave Evans and Thunder Down Under, and of course my solo career, and it's been going for quite a while. So there's a lot there.
All right.
Go ahead, Elijah.
going into Rabbit, and I have been getting into a lot of Rabbit recently this week. The song Wildfire, I really do like that song. And so we just want you to tell us your experience. How exactly did Rabbit get formed? How did they pick you up? And how did basically Rabbit start and you get involved with them?
Well, they were already around at the time from Newcastle, and they'd come down to Sydney and they'd play Checkers at times. When I was there, I'd seen them. They were a really wild band, a really good band. The singer, he really had great crowd control and all that sort of thing, but he decided to leave. He's a teacher or something like that. And after AC/DC had split up, I was at Checkers nightclub one night speaking to the famous and now late Ted Mowry. He's very well known to all Australians. And Ted, I toured with him before. He said, "Oh, look, Rabbit's looking for a new singer." And so I got in touch with the guys up there, and they were excited to hear me, that I was available. And so we just got together and had a chat, and I ended up moving up to Newcastle, and I lived there for about 9 months or so, I suppose. We signed with CBS Records, and the band moved to Sydney. And they're just great guys. We had as I said, we were a wild, hedonistic band, and they really knew how to work on stage. They were wild and very coordinated. And we did a couple of albums, and had our records out and on the different TV shows and that kind of stuff. We were very, very popular.
Yeah.
And there was no jealousies between any of the boys, because we all had our following, as it were. Each one of us had our own sort of following, and so it was just a great act.
And another act you had after that, Thunder Down Under. One of the pieces we came across of that pretty much got us into your music was your version of an old Aborigine Australian song, Waltzing Matilda. How did that go? The filming of that.
How'd that come about in the first place?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to do a new album, and there was a small label, Reaction Records, and I knew the owner, who's a good friend of mine, and he said, "Look, Dave, I'll do an album with you." He said, "But I want you to do a version of Waltzing Matilda," which was the unofficial Australian national anthem. And I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, like Jimi Hendrix did Star Spangled Banner, that kind of thing."
Yeah.
And I sort of went, "Oh, okay." So he said, "I want you to do that, and if you do that for me, we'll do the album, and I'll spend whatever it takes." And so I had to think about it.
And that one.
And that's the version that came out. And when we did the film clip, we filmed it in near Ballarat in Victoria here, near the Sovereign Hill. It's an old mine and a gold mine. There's a big gold rush here. People came from the United States everywhere from California. And the Sovereign Hill, they all dress up in costumes. You go into the place. It's really fantastic from the 1800s and that. And they had the coppers there, the police and troopers and all that. So we just borrowed a few of those guys, and Glenn, who's now passed away too, plays the squatter. He's the guy on the horse that comes down with the beard. And so I got him in the film clip too. I said, "If I'm doing Waltzing Matilda, you're in the film clip." So I got Glenn down there, and we had a ball doing the. I played the. Swagman as well, the hobo guy. I just tucked my hair up under the hat with the corpse hanging down and all that sort of stuff. So we just had a fantastic time doing it, and people that hear the song and see the film clip, they love it. So it's great.
So in the video, there's a part where you pick up a sheep. Was that a real sheep?
Yeah, it was amazing. The guy that produced the film clip, you have to believe it, we were looking for a sheep, a jumbuck, right? Down came a jumbuck, which is a sheep. And he said, "I've got a pet sheep." I said, "You're kidding?" He goes, "Yeah, I've got a pet sheep." And I said, "We'll use that in the film clip." He said, "Yeah, no problem." So he just stood in the billabong, the
water,
little lake, the water there, off camera. He couldn't see it. And he had a little... like a little bottle of milk, with a teat, and he stood there, and we let the lamb go, and it just went straight down to the water. One take it was. Went straight down to the water. Didn't go in, and he just stopped and started licking the water. And we just kept the the camera going, and I just went up and grabbed the sheep. So it was almost like a one take, and the little sheep was actually owned by the producer of the film.
That's so great.
It's a good thing to know no animals were harmed in the making of that film.
No animals were harmed, in fact. And
no, I gave him a big cuddle.
Dave, we got a few more questions because we don't want to keep you too much longer. Let's talk here quickly. Judgment Day came out in 2008. This was your chance to really break into the hard rock scene. It came after another effort a few years prior. I gave it a listen a little while ago. I know Elijah's a big fan of it. It's just a good hard rock album. That's really simple to play. And, I always talk about with my band Seven Son, we always talk about just trying to produce a good hard rock sound. Were you very satisfied with it?
Oh, yeah. Sinner and Judgment Day, they're really my